Hello everyone, peace of Christ to all. Um, First of all, I would like to welcome everybody, and I hope today we will have a good time together to learn something new, and same time refuting the Muslims' claim regarding some issues they come with. Before we start, I'm really thankful for all those who join my videos, watch them, share them from everywhere, regardless really which country you are coming from. I really appreciate all of you, those who are from Canada or from Europe, all over Europe, like France, Germany, Italy, you name it. Actually, there's people they are watching my videos, even in Asia, India, Japan, Russia. I wish I speak Japanese because some Japanese mostly don't speak good English. But still, even though there's a lot of people, they like it and they enjoy it. So our channel for everybody. It doesn't matter really which country you are from. You are welcome to be with us and to share with us your questions and your inquiries. Today's topic simply is about a question, or let us say some claims the Muslims they came with regarding their God and our God. And for sure there's no question that the God of the Muslims is better. The God of the Muslims is a high quality. Our God, as we will notice now in the claim the Muslims they came with, is not really a high quality. All right. So we will try to go over their claims and we will read together, and you will see when Muslims they make certain claims, do they even read what they are saying? I mean, seriously, do Muslims know what they are saying? My experience with Muslims, they are people of copy-paste. Most of them, they have no idea what they are pasting, and somebody else he thought for them and they follow. As you see in the screen, you see in the left corner my address in Skype. So if you have a question you like to be by voice, you like us to broadcast your voice question, you can leave for me an offline message. If it is polite and there's no bad language, we can play it in the program, and we can share with everybody your question, and for sure we would love to answer it. All right. So as you see in the corner of the screen, Skype, Debate TV, this is the address. Search for it and you can leave me a voice message on Skype. Now if you are in Twitter, there's a very easy option actually too. You can leave us a message in Twitter, and simply, if we are doing our show live, your message will appear in the screen. Like right now, if somebody actually posts anything in my page in Twitter, right away we will receive the question or the tweet, all right, in our screen. Now you see there, this is the website I have, my website, investigateislam.com, in the left corner, and there you will see my Twitter address too, so you can tweet to me through that address. Now, before we start answering the Muslim Abduls about their claims, I would like to refer to you, if you like really to learn about Islam, to read my books, Quran and Science and On Depth, which is a book simply refute all the Muslims' claim regarding the science of the Quran, which Muslims brag about a big deal, when in fact what Muslims are bragging about to be true is the opposite. Not only it's a lie, but it is a disaster. So this is kind of a funny book, because you will see how things switch upside down. What the Muslims claim to be a miracle will turn up to be a fairy tale story, a fabrication and a fairy tale story. Like what Muslims speak about, that's maybe Allah speaking about the airplane, we turn to find that this is about flying carpet. And this is just an example of many things you will find with reference. And there we don't make fun of anyone. We don't, we are just stating reference as it is. So this is my book number 2. Let us see, somebody have a question here in Twitter. No, nothing really. They paused there, but nothing really serious for me. If you want to read something, like I have 2 books right now, and the 3rd book is going to be published soon. The other book simply present to you Islam in general, starting from zero, giving you all the secrets about Muhammad life, and telling you all the secret and hiding method Muslims they believe in and they practice in their religion, which is how Muhammad became a prophet, who supported him, who was behind, etc. So anyway, feel free to read my 1st book, which is called The Deception of Allah, and both they can be found in Amazon.com, and my 3rd book will be soon out, and we will inform you about it. Let us turn off Twitter, because right now we will start our topic, and look like none of those tweets have to do with our topic here, so we will focus in what we have. And again, I want to remind you, feel free to contact me or subscribe to our Facebook. You can go to investigateislam.com and you will find the page of Facebook there, so you can subscribe. Simply, the topic today is about an article written by Muslims. It's very funny and sent to me by a brother in Facebook. I'm assuming he's a Christian, and he's asking me for my opinion or if I can answer it. And for sure, I cannot really resist the temptation of answering the amazing propaganda of the Muslims. As you know, always Muslims, they come with things. Sometimes it's beyond your imagination. But, we are the expert and we know how to deal with it. So what is the Muslim topic, or let us say issue they came with? There's an article, it says how the Quran correct the Bible. How the Quran correct the Bible. Now, by the way, this picture is taken by me. It's one of my hobbies. Maybe most of you do not know. I love to take pictures, but not of myself. And this is a picture I took in Hong Kong, and I found it really astonishing how this Abdul in the picture is standing texting in the phone, but each time the more he texts, the more he spread his legs. Actually, I have more pictures of him. His legs is more wider. I mean, one in the left, one in the right, and God knows where he will go. And this is what actually the reason for me to take this picture. And maybe this is how the Muslims correct our Bible, by, because their legs have no direction, one going to the right and one going to the left, and they are the one will guide you to where to go. So how the Quran really correct the Bible? Let us see together. I'm going to switch to the screen so we can read together the article, and we can we can see it together and see really what this correction is about. Is it real? Is it really real, or it is a joke? Obviously the Muslims, they consider it serious, and you Christians, you better think about it and see if the Muslims have a point here or not, and very soon we will find out. So this is the article in front of our eyes, and this is the website as it is. I'm not quoting, I'm not cutting, I'm not doing anything, as it is. How the Quran corrects the Bible. You can read the article. Today I'm going to answer one topic at a time because there's many issues, and the video will go long really if I make it for all of it. So however, the Muslims if we scroll down in this page, we will see the Muslims, they quote for you a verse from the Gospel, from the Torah. But before they go there, they say, you know what? Allah in the Quran said to Muhammad that we revealed to you a book confirming that which proceed of the scriptures, and as have an authority over it. And based on this verse, they are saying, the Quran saying actually, that the Quran, by making this statement, and later we will prove it to you, according to the Muslims, we will show you how the Quran do that, which means they are saying that this sentence here mean Quran will correct the Bible. The fact, you know, the Quran saying in this verse that this is a book confirming which is between your hands, which means the translation here we have is a false fiction. It's absolutely false. And I challenge any Muslim to say this is not true. مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. Now I know Muslims don't speak Arabic. I mean most of them, 95% maybe. And I understand that most of you are ignorant in Arabic, but however, I can find out what the verse is saying here by using your Islamic websites. So this is a chapter 5 verse number 48, right? So we can go to one of your Islamic website, and we can open this chapter here. Remember, this is chapter 5 verse 48, all right? So I'm going to open exactly, just to show you the dishonesty of Muslims when they translate. All right. Oh, sorry. I open, it's 48, sorry, 48. It's here coming as 58, all right. So 48, I made a mistake. All right, well, this is the Muslim translation of Sahih International. I found that most of Muslim translation is very false. However, I was able to be successful to find one of them is more honest somehow. Maybe by mistake, because this is unusual for Muslims really to be honest. Read with me here what it says. I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger. For some reason is not obeying me. All right. So this is Dr. Ghali, and let us scroll up so that will make it appear more clear. All right. So as we see here in the screen, Dr. Ghali, he said, and he is supposedly, I am saying, he is more honest than the rest of the Muslims, but doesn't mean he's honest. He is still the same as the rest. Look what he did in order to cover the deception. He said to us that Allah in this verse saying that this book, the Quran, which means the Quran, come with the truth, verifying whatsoever or whatever of the book that was before it. But look what he said. Right away he contradicts himself. Literally, all right? What is between his hands? What is between his two hands? So literally what the Quran is saying, the Quran is confirming literally what is between the two hands of Muhammad, and what he is confirming, the books which came before it, which mean the Torah and the Injil, which mean the New Testament. But in the whole Muslim translation, all of them with no exception, they say to you what was before it, what was before it, what was before it. But the fact it's not. It says what is between your hands. So why Muslims are dishonest? Because simply that will create a problem. Because if the verse saying Allah, He confirmed what is between your hands. That's mean there's a mistake. How you say you are confirming it for what is between your hand, and then you say the Bible is corrupt? That's mean you have the copy of it. That's mean Muhammad, he have the true Torah and the true gospel, and he have it, and he hold it between his hands, and he confirm it. So was he confirming the corrupt copy, or he was confirming the correct one? And as you see, I'm not the one saying between his hands. It is between his hands, which is confirmed by the Quran that is to be true. And that is a big problem. This is why the Muslims in their translation, they literally that it is between his hand, because this will be a problem and you will not find it anywhere in any translation. As I said, Dr. Ghali, Muhammad Ghali, by mistake, he exposed the lies Muslims they come with. And by the way, this verse appear in many places. I mean the same thing appear in many places in the Quran. Many places in the Quran say clearly that Muhammad, he confirmed, or Allah says, he confirmed what is between his hand. So if we go to the Quran, we will see, let me show you some examples of verses, the same verses. I mean, the Quran is a book, repeat itself for no need, because it's useless. Muhammad is just, trying to create a book of God. Hold on. All those verses in front of us, like chapter 2, verse number 41. Let us see what the translation says about this verse. That's a disaster. Look at this. That's a disaster. The Muslims here, they made a mistake. They expose the false prophet Muhammad in this verse and believe in what I have sent down, which is the Quran, confirming that which is with you. That what? Which is with you. Do you see it, guys? Do you see it? I hope all the Abduls, they can see it together. Huh? It's very clear. Confirming what? Which is with you. How you say such a thing if you are saying you are going to correct my Bible? That's mean the Muslims today are smarter than Allah. Allah is an ignorant. He confirmed what we have between our hand. What is with you? With you who? The Jews, the Christians. As you see, the Torah and the Gospel, the Torah and the Injil. And we are the one who have it, not the Muslims. So Allah in the verse here clearly saying, with a clear evidence, I confirm what you have with you. I agree upon that. And then we find some Abdul saying and making an article saying, you know what, the Quran is a book correcting the Bible. That's very stupid to say, because you are proving to us here that the Quran is the wrong book and the one who wrote the Quran is an idiot. Now I know the Muslim, they will say, oh, you know what, this is before the change. This is false. You cannot say before the change. What change? Are you saying that the Bible was not a change in the time of Muhammad? This means there is no reason for him to come. If they are following the true book, the true belief, and you are confirming what is between their hand. And in that verse and in this verse, which is with you, is, you know what is? Not was. You know, English is my second language, but I can speak English too. Like I can speak like in Zakir Naik. So if we ask Zakir Naik here, brother Zakir Naik, how you can explain this? You say, brother Thither, this verse, you know, come on. It's obviously confirming that which is with you. But I don't blame Muslims really, because Muslims do not read their books. Like, even do Muslims know how to read their books? Like, seriously, how many of you Muslims can read the Quran? You can recite the Quran, but you cannot read the Quran. Which means you're reciting blindly by repeating it, and repeat is not reading, and repeat does not mean understanding, and repeat is a very silly thing to do. So now let us go to the argument Muslims. The first we demolish actually the whole accusation. The whole name of the article is demolished already. I can show you more verses actually, all those verses we see in the screen in front of us here, all of them, the rest, they are the same. They are confirming what we have, like chapter 2 verse 91, the same chapter 2 41 and chapter 2 number 91. It says and he is confirming what is with them. All right, confirming what is with them. So you see it, guys? Do you see it? Confirming what is with them. That must be a mistake made by Allah, because how you confirm what with us, and then the Abdul today they say this is not the true Bible. You see the poor Abdul, because they are ignorant, and I say it, I'm not insulting. They say the Quran saying that the Bible is corrupt. The fact the Quran doesn't say really the way corruption mean. Let us see what the Quran says. I'm going to talk about verses speaking about the word, the Torah, and actually the Quran never mentioned, by the way, any corrupt of the gospel, mentioned corrupt of the Torah. And this is the verse in front of us, chapter 4 verse number 46. It says, من الذين هادوا يحرفون الكلم عن مواضعه. So what they do, they change the location of the words. They are not taking verses out, they are not burning pages, they are not destroying it. No, they are changing locations. However, if you go and read the story behind it, you will see that a Jewish guy, Muhammad, he told him to read a verse. The Jewish guy, he put his finger on the top of the word where it says stoned to death, and that's it, which means he did not take the word off. He's trying to hide it. That's what this is about. So the Muslim claim is very funny, have no base, and you know what? How you can correct us if you don't even have the book, which you, the original one, so you can compare it between the correct one and the wrong one. Now let us go to the article and see why this article is funny. And as I said already, we demolish it, but still we can have more fun, and this is what we will do. We will leave the screen for now, and we will go actually let us go back to the article, because we are not done yet with it, and read more. So the first verse here we prove that it is false, and the translation is false, which means the Muslims are the one who is corrupting their book, because when you translate it wrongly, willingly, it's mean you are part of deception. This is why actually I called my book The Deception of Allah. It wasn't called this way for no reason. I call it Deception of Allah because Muslims really believe in deception. The whole religion of Islam believe in deception, and Allah himself is a deceiver. And you can read my book and you can see what I'm saying. So now if we go in the we go back here in the screen, this is the first claim: God did not grow weary after creating universe. So what they are saying here, just to make it short, that in the book of Exodus, the Bible says that God, after the God of the Bible, not the God of the Muslims, after he created the universe, he rested. He rested. So he created the heaven and the earth in 6 days, and in the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. So they are saying to you, well, isn't this is attribute of a human being? They are saying that this is what happened to a human being. This is cannot be happening to God. God do not need to be rested, for he is God, and nothing can make him be tired. All right. So in here they are saying to you the original Hebrew word used for refreshed is nafash, which means to take, breathe, or refresh oneself. Actually, this is not too much accurate, but I will go with it. Let us say this is what it says. Because what it says in the Bible clearly, that God, he rested and it is done. Like, done, all right? Silence, quiet. There is nothing more to do. So they are saying this is an attribute of a human being. This cannot be given to God. And then they quote for you a verse from the Quran, which chapter 50, verse number 38. Allah saying that he created the heaven and the earth in 6 days, and no weariness touch us. So Allah did not get tired, and he speak about himself as a plural name. Remember, Allah, he say about himself, us. I don't know why. Allah is a Trinity. The Muslim, they say to you, us mean he's majestic. Well, he's praising himself. Oh, all right. So Allah never been touched by weariness. He never get tired. But the God of the Christians and the Jews, according to this verse, he got tired. And this is how the Quran correct the Bible. All right. The fact this is a fabrication, because if you read carefully with me the verses we have in front of us, I will go now to the Bible. All right. We will find the following. When this verse is speaking about God creation, God is telling us in a very simple way, not in a literate way, how he created the heaven and the earth. So I have 6 days creating the universe, and the day number 7 rested, which means nothing done, nothing more to do. It doesn't say God, he got tired. Rest here, it's mean seat, like, you know, like nothing more to do, or cease, sorry. So like when you say ceasefire, there's a war and suddenly everything stopped. So rested here is not about God being taking a rest for being tired, but because simply there's nothing more to do. It's over. 6 days I created the universe. The day number 7 is my day. The Muslims don't understand that this is symbolic for the Sabbath and have nothing to do really with God taking rest. Because you will notice later that this is Sabbath is going to be carried on to the Jews and to the believers, and it's not going to stay the day of God in heaven. It's going to be the day of the Jews on earth, and that day is not the day of rest. That is the day of God. How this day is the day of God? You refresh yourself with God, you communicate with God, you keep close to him, and you earn, your spirit will earn strength, comfort, and more trust for the coming tomorrow. If you go to Genesis chapter 2 verse number 2, you will see that God, he and in the 7th day he ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had done. Rested here again is used, but it's not about God being tired, which means rested, nothing more to do. It's over. The Bible, when God speaks to us, He speaks to us in our way to understand how He created things. Like, do you really think that God have to do with time anyway? I mean, God is out of time. So those 6 days have nothing to do with God anyway. But it's a simple story to explain to you as a human, as a simple human being, how God created the universe and what is the unique about the 7th day. Before matter and time, like matter and time, they are connected. Before God created the light, if you go in Genesis, you will see God created light, and He called it day, and then He created and He called the darkness night. So day is the light, night is the darkness. The Quran says Allah created the darkness, which is very funny and very false, because you do not need to create darkness to have it. The darkness is just the absence of light. So let us correct the Quran, because it's a fiction of science. So God created light and He called it day. So before that day, before that time, let us say, there's no day and there's no night and there's no time. Time and matter, they came to exist together. For God, there's no time. God is above time. Somebody will say to you, well, in the gospel, in the Bible, it says that 1 day for God is the same as 1,000. This is like the prophet in his meditation saying to you, what? God for a day for God, it means nothing. But it's not really about 1,000 years, because God is above the time and He will not age. Somebody might say to you, well, Jesus, He became 30 years old and then 33 years old. Is that Him aging? Well, this can be answered even from the Quran. Until now, Jesus is alive. That means He is anti-age. How Jesus can be alive until now, unless He is anti-age? You age, you die. You cannot live for 1,000 of years, and we're in heaven, not even in earth. So obviously, our Lord is above the word age and time, and this time here is meant to speak about how God present His creation for us in a very simple method. Same time to tell us that, what? This day is my day, the 7th day is my day, and you have to reserve it. Later you will see that Jesus, when He was walking with the Pharisee, let me find the verse. It's in Mark chapter 2. Okay. Yeah, Mark chapter 2, verse number 23. You can read all the way to verse 27, and let us show it in the screen. When Jesus was walking with the Pharisees, some of the Pharisees, they were asking Him about those people who they are doing some work in the Sabbath, and they said to Him, is it lawful? Look what the Messiah, with amazing wisdom, said to them. The Sabbath was made for the man, and not the man made for the Sabbath. So if this Sabbath have a benefit for the man, the Sabbath belong to the man, for the benefit of the man. So if that is something good for them, the Sabbath is made for their service, not the opposite. So any work you do good for God is Sabbath. This day is the day of God. Like when you see someone is injured in the street, are you going to help him or you let him die? You will help him. So that is the Sabbath. And actually Sabbath in the Old Testament, not only Saturday, it can be any holy day which is a day of God. That is Sabbath. So God, He introduced to us the Sabbath, the 7th day, the day of resting, but not necessarily from work, resting from our interest. God, He have interest with creating the universe. He is done with it. He's not tired, but He's done with it. So the interest here, I'm done. That's okay. Now the universe can go by itself. So it was, let us say, everything is ready. It's time to turn the engine. Here we go. The universe is ready to go. So the Sabbath is a day where God, He Himself, decide to have it, not for His own, but for us. In the same time, this day have a connection with Him. He wants you to be always remembering Him in the 7th day. Why? To have the strength, to refresh, to rest spiritually. Because you can take off any day in the week you want. The Judaism never oppose you to have off Monday or Sunday or Tuesday. Actually, you can stay home all the week if you want. So this is not about physical rest. This is about being with God, and God is being with you. Remembering God, and He is staying with you. You don't live for material. You don't live for your food only. This is why Jesus said, not only by bread the human being he live. Not only by bread. So the Sabbath established let us say, the concept of the Sabbath started by God our Lord Himself, and then He asked the Jews to remember Him in the Sabbath. Have nothing to do with resting. Actually, here I want to ask a question. What if the verse in Exodus, this verse here, actually here, the verse 31, what if this verse did not mention that God rested in the 7th day? That means there's more work to do. God here is reporting what happened and what He did. In the 7th day, rested, which means nothing more to do. So if we take off the word rested, don't you think we will have an issue here? Because then we will say, what if God did not rest? That means there is no 7th day, and there is no 8th day, and there's etc. It's continuous. All days are the same, because what recognizes the week is the rest day. The point of cycling is the 7th day, and the day after will be the first day of the coming week. So what if there is no rest day? Then we will have no rest day, and we will not have a week, and we will not have days, and we will not have a week, and we will not have the time we are talking about. In fact, this is a problem for the Quran. Why? Because in the Quran, Allah, He said, let me show you, He created the earth and the heaven in 6 days, but Allah did not tell us what He did in 7th day. What happened in the 7th day? Don't you think this is a problem? What Allah did in the 7th day? He was sleeping, He was dancing, He was walking around, He went to the swimming pool, He was doing fishing. So what exactly happened to Allah in the 7th day? The week is not 6 days. The week is 7 days. So Allah is missing a very important day He did not report to us. And that is actually a proof of a problem. Muhammad, because he's stealing the stories from the gospel, he forgot to mention, and that caused him a problem. If you go to the Hadith, you will see, like actually once I saw Zakir Naik, he's saying, brother sister, the Bible says that the God of the Christian, He created the earth in 6 days, and this is proven to be wrong in science. Now, Zakir Naik, because he's a scholar and he's an idiot, because if he is a scholar, he will never ever make fun of such a topic. As I said, our God here is giving us a story in a simple way, but it's not about what the Muslims mean. In fact, in their religion, the day is exactly 24 hours as today. Read with me. Allah the Exalted, the Gracious, etc. Who is talking? Muhammad. Muhammad himself. He created the clay on Saturday. So he's talking about Saturday. Saturday. You see in there, our Lord is not talking about Saturday and as let us say, talking about the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day. Muhammad is giving them names. And obviously, because he's an idiot, he started with the wrong one. Because God, he chose the Sabbath to be the seventh day. Muhammad, he chose the first day of a creation is a Sabbath. As you see, he started creating the clay in Saturday. And then he created the mountains on Sunday. And then he created the trees on Monday. And then he created things entitling labor, etc. on Tuesday. And he created light on Wednesday. And by the way, the Muslims, they make fun of the Bible saying, well, do you know what? The Bible says that the light was created in the fourth day. Here we go. Your prophet is coming with this. Do you see it? The light created in Wednesday. So Muslims, this is why I say, and Zakir Naik and Didat, they made fun of this because they are stupid. They are not scholars. Their prophet is the one who says that the light created in the fourth day. But how the Muslims, they will know? They are a nation who are illiterate, like their prophet. And he caused the animals and spread it on in Thursday, and he created Adam on Friday. Hold on. This is mean Allah, he was creating 7 days. Do you see the mistake with me? Saturday, day number 1. Saturday. Saturday, Sunday, day number 2. Monday, day number 3. Tuesday, day number 4. Wednesday, day number 5. Tuesday, day number 6. And Friday, day number 7. That is totally contradiction for what the Quran is saying. The verse they quote for us themselves, that Allah created what in earth and heaven and what is between them, which means everything, in 6 days. Correct? So obviously Muhammad, he cannot repeat the lie twice correctly. So once he make it 6 days, and in the Hadith it became 7 days. Again, if you are not good in mathematics, we will repeat again. Saturday, day number 1. Sunday, day number 2. Monday, day number 3. Tuesday, day number 4. Wednesday, day number 5. Thursday, day number 6. And Friday, day number 7. But in their article website, they are saying to us, Allah created the earth and the heaven in 6 days. Which means after the day number 6, there's nothing to create. You see, what it was supposedly a problem for the Christians, it turned to be a disaster for the Muslims. But because this is a nation of ignorance, they do not know, and they did not recognize, and this is what you get from the fool. So what do you expect? However, as long we are here, let us expose something Muslims maybe they are not aware of. If you see here with me, they are saying, according to the Quran, God does not display these human attributes of weakness and fatigue, and He is truly, etc. So, Islam is against God to have any human attribute. At the same time, Quran says Allah have hands, Allah have eyes, Allah He love the one who kill for Him, Allah He hate the one who don't kill for Him, Allah get angry. Isn't it? This is all human attributes. So like, if the Muslims are smart, but Muslims are very crazy in their they don't even think, because Islam is taken over their mind. They will not think about it like, you know what, Allah He share with you a lot of your attribute, like being angry, being jealous, being upset. He deceive. Allah He think, as an example. All of those are human attributes. So the only thing they come with that Allah He is, do not suffer from weakness or fatigue. However, I'm going to prove you wrong, even in this one. If we go in the Quran, and let us see, as we see, this is the Quran in front of our eyes, and the verse number is here in the corner. All right, so I hope you can see it clearly. You see it? What the verse here is saying, that Allah He created the earth and the heaven in 6 days, and then after that He settled in the top of the throne. Question: is that mean resting? The Muslim, they say no. Alright, so it's mean what? Allah, when He sit in the top of the throne, He is doing what exactly? I will give you 3 options. Taking a break, watching TV, trying his new chair. Like, come on. This guy, Allah, He created the earth and the heaven. إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش. So He is the one who created the earth and the heaven, etc. in 6 days, and then He lifted Himself up to the throne. And here actually we will notice something very important, and this is why I advise you guys always to listen to my videos, because you will notice things you never yourself will be able to notice, because I read things differently. When the Quran says that Allah He created the earth and the heaven in 6 days, as we see, and then when He is done, He go to the chair. Actually, it's a chair. Later I will show you a verse that says it's a chair. So for now, it's a throne. All right? And this is the word throne in Arabic. This is mean that when Allah was creating the universe, He was not in the top of His throne. All right? Allah, He leave His throne to do the creation. And that is telling us that Allah cannot, what Muslims they claim to be God. Why? I'm going by the logic, by the way. Because a human being, he need to go to work to do the work. He cannot do it when he is sitting in his chair. The Muslim, they say to us, Allah, if He wants something to happen, He will say be, and it's going to be. And obviously He cannot do it. He cannot say be to the earth to happen when He is sitting in his chair. Like, can Allah say to the heaven, create, hey heaven, be created, by not moving from His chair? Obviously He cannot. He left His chair for 6 days. And when He finished creation, He went back to His throne. Almost we are making a ellipse here. Oops, I became an artist. I don't know that. MashaAllah. So when the Muslims read, he will not notice what I'm saying, because simply a Muslim, he do not read. Have you ever seen a Muslim who read? That's impossible. It's against their nature. The funny, the Muslim, they say to us, Allah, if you want something to happen, he say be, and it's going to be. Seriously, this is what they say. But I challenge the Muslim to show me one thing Allah, he said be, and it was. You know, I mean it. I challenge. Can you show me one thing Allah, he said for something to be, and it was? Never. Like they say to you, the similarity of Adam is the same as Jesus' similarity as Adam. But you know, he did not create Adam by saying to him be. He make mud, and then he fashioned the mud as a statues, and then after he fashioned the statues, he breathed into it. And actually in the Quran, you will see the Quran says that وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا, the human being, he was a rush. And then they will quote for you the story of Adam, that when Allah, he created him in a Friday night, as we show actually in the Hadith in front of us, but this is a verse in the Quran. In the interpretation of it, it says when Allah created Adam, after he breathed into him, after he made him a mud, etc., etc., and then he breathed into him, before the Spirit arrived to his feet, it was only in his head. Adam, he sneezed, Allah said to him, bless you, and Adam said to Allah, finish me before the sun set. So where is be it is going to be? Obviously your God, he have to move from his throne, as we see here. He cannot do the work without leaving the throne. So he have to move from point A, which is the throne, to point B, which is where he is going to create the heaven and the earth. And he stayed away from the throne for 6 days. When he is done, Allah, he decided to take vacation, and he go back now to rest in the top of his throne. And the funny, the Muslim, they say to us, our God is the one is resting, when the fact it is the opposite. And by the way, there's many verses in the Quran speaking about the same thing, because Quran is nothing but a book keep repeating itself. Like this verse, Allah, he established himself on the top of the throne. And this verse, Allah established himself in the top of the throne, and as you see, he was away doing the work. All right. And the funny about elevate himself in the top of the throne, I don't know if you notice with me here. Let's go back. If you ask the Muslims how Allah, he established himself on the throne, the Muslims, they don't dare to answer. This is why you see here it says, how, read with me guys, how he did elevate himself, it is beyond the human understanding. So why he's telling me? It is a throne, he elevated himself on the throne. What do you mean beyond the human understanding? Because simply there's a problem here. If they say he is a human like us, he sit like us, there's a problem. At the same time, they can't deny it. So if they deny it, they will have a problem, because it might be true. If they accept it, it might be not. So what they say to save themselves from the problem, they say, we do not know what happened exactly, or what we know that Allah, he elevated himself in the top of the throne. How? We do not know. He sat in the top of his ass. He was in the top of his feet. He was sitting down. We do not know. So this is why they say, how? We do not know. Because Muhammad never mentioned it, and they have nothing to. They have no idea how they can answer this. But obviously, Allah now is on the top of the throne. And obviously, Allah, He cannot create the earth and the heaven when He is sitting in the throne, which means He cannot say words, be and is going to be. He have to move to do it. Actually, there's a hadith where Allah, He come every third part of the night to go down to the lowest heaven, asking Muslims to invoke Him for a prayer, or let's say, He says, who is the one is invoking me so He can hear your prayer? So Allah cannot hear your prayer when He is up in the heaven on His chair. He have to go down to the lowest heaven. And that is not the God who say be is going to be. That is the God of the Bible, where God says, let be light, and it was light. Your God, in order to create light, He moved from His chair. And your God in the Quran says He created the sky and the earth and the heaven and whatever between them in 6 days, when the Hadith, as we showed you, it says 7 days. Which is showing that your prophet is not a legitimate resource of information. Cannot be trusted. Obviously. Now there is a verse, one more verse here before we go deeper. Look with me. This is a chapter 2, verse number 255. 255. So I'm going to go to the Islamic website and see what 255 come to be. All Muslims, when they translate this verse, the word kursi, they don't really translate it, they just put it as it is. And I will tell you very soon why. This is a chapter 2, verse number 255. Alright? I'm going to use, I will show you two translations just to be fair and balanced, like Fox News, a TV of lies, like the Muslims. Here you will see that Allah, the verse here describes the chair of Allah. Allah have a chair. You see it? Allah, He has a chair. And His chair embraced the heaven and the earth, is in the size of the heaven, the same size as the earth and the heaven, not bigger. وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض. The size of His chair is the earth and the heaven. And the reason He's saying that, just to show you how stupid the Quran is. If the earth is very small, tiny, what do you mean the size of the earth and the heaven? When you say the size of the heaven, you include the earth anyway. Because the earth is nothing, it's like not even a dust inside the sky. Correct? But because Islam believed that the size of the earth and the heaven are equal, the earth is a flat, the sky is a roof, and Allah is sitting in the top of the roof, and His chair is the same exact size of the earth and the heaven, because both of them, they are equally. And actually, I have a drawing. If you go to my book, I have a drawing for just to make it easier for you to understand how the earth is presented in the Quran, and how the heaven presented in the Quran. This is why the Quran speaks about the mountain. It's called Qaf, which is surrounding the whole earth, and this is the fence of the earth, and the top of it there's the dome, which is the sky, which is the roof of the earth. All right. So what we see here, that Allah have a chair, and this chair have a size. But guess what? This is not only what we have. We have something more important. In the day of judgment, and actually He's describing how Allah will be, like when they meet Him. All right. Now they will see His throne for real. Allah will be carried in the top of 8 angels, and those angels, as you see with me, I'm not the ones giving interpretation. This is the verse in the front of you, chapter 69, verse number 17. All right, let's be sure it's showing. You see it? So, in the judgment day, or even now it's the same, but in the judgment day they will see him. In the judgment day they will see this, the Muslim they will see it. So the Quran describing what you will see when you see Allah. Allah will come, or sorry, the Muslim they will see Allah, and he is in the top of 8 different angels. Each one of them has 4 different faces. Face of a human, face of a eagle, face of a lion, and face of a bull. 8 angels, 4 faces each. This is mean 32 faces. Sometimes I ask myself, where Muhammad he getting this from? First of all, here we need to ask ourselves a question. If you see here, it says in Arabic, ala arja'iha. Those who speak Arabic, they know what I'm talking about. Arja'iha, it's mean in its sides, in the side of something. Arja'iha. This is the Arabic word. All right. And actually, is it translated here? In the side of what? In the side of the throne. Arsh. So 8 angels in the sides of the throne carrying Allah. So Allah is in the top of them, and he must be smaller in his size than the location of the angels, because they are in the side. Allah is not on the side, Allah is in the middle. So let us imagine it this way. We have a flying carpet. I'm not good in drawing, by the way, so forgive me if you see something funny here. And now we have 8 angels carrying the throne of Allah. 2 from here, 4 from the sides, and 2 from here. Each one of them have different faces, 4 faces. And you need to ask yourself what the point of having 4 faces? A face of a lion, a face of a human. What is that? This is a question for the Muslims. I want to know. All right. In order for this to happen, Allah have to be here, and he have to be smaller, because the angels are in the edges. Question: why Allah sitting in the chair? And we showed you in the verse before, it's a chair, which is a human attribute, by the way, because the one who needed chairs, I'm talking about the real chair, all right? Because as you see, this is not a metaphorical no more. This is a real chair, is carried by angels, and those angels have etc., and it's have a weight, and they are carrying him. And he is in the middle. The question why he is carried by angels, like do Allah need to be carried? Is that his transportation? Is that this is his limousine? Is this chair fixed or it's moving? Is that how Allah he move from point A to point B? In the verse before we saw that Allah he left his chair. This is why he came back to the chair. So Allah, how he was moving then? He was walking, flying. If he can walk and fly, why he need people, angels to carry him? Allah he need angels? Allah depend on angels? Actually, somehow, when I read the stories of Muhammad, sometimes I say to myself, you know what? Maybe Muhammad is trying to use the visions, some visions we know in the Bible, like the story of Ezekiel. Is it? There is, as you see in this imaginary picture made by an artist, I can tell this artist is really, really, really good, even better than me. You will see that there is animals underneath, and they are carrying him. So you can see how Muhammad is affected by the book of the Jews, and he is trying to make his own story to make it fit with his religion. But he make it not about Ezekiel, he make it about Allah. Allah riding 8 angels, each one of them have face of a lion, face of a bull, face of a human, etc. An eagle. So obviously, Quran is nothing but a contradiction, and we showed you many in a very simple topic. We did not even go deep, seriously, because if I want to go deep, the video will go forever. So we cannot really, you know, I cannot consider the Muslims are smart people when they speak about their God or even about our God, because obviously they do not know their book. Otherwise, how dare you to mention this topic when your God is the one who sick because he's tired? How dare you to mention this topic when your Quran says 6 days? And by the way, the Quran says 6 days in one verse, in the other verse he says 8 days. But this is a different topic. We concentrate today about Allah sitting on the chair. The question again, I will repeat for the last time. Allah sit on the chair for what reason? Allah cannot create the universe and the earth without leaving his chair. He left his chair for 6 days, which means he don't say be and it was. And he never created anything by be, including Adam. Allah, he go back to his chair. Allah, he is carried by the angels, and then we see that his chair have a size, and this size is the exact size of the heaven, and then we will find that at the edges of his chair there is 8 angels carrying him. What do you want more to prove that Allah is a person who is the same as an Maharaja we see in India, who is carried by his slaves, and he is fat, eating banana when they are carrying him, enjoying his wealth? I hope we answered this first one. The coming video will be about the second one. And as I said, by the way, you can post for me your question in Twitter, all right, especially if we are live. And you can send me your message in Skype, as you see in the corner of the screen. It's called DBTV. Simply just you can leave a voice message. Here we go, make it appear again. And in Twitter, you will see the address is Christ is the one. And you can visit my website, Investigate Islam, and then you can click our Facebook page to subscribe. So I want to say thank you guys for being here with us. I hope you did learn something. I wish I can make more videos, but trust me, just to make this video, because this kind of a graphic take really long, and then the rendering will take more long, and then loading will take long, and this is why I prefer to do live podcasting. But I noticed that live podcasting is banned in many countries, and this is why now I'm loading those videos. Like, even if I want to do it live podcasting, still I have to load it, because those who live in certain countries, they will not be able to see those videos. I don't know really what the reason, for such a thing. Now, if you like to help us in our mission, I would like to remind you that you can go to the link you will see in the screen under my name. There you will see it. There's an option to support what we do, even by $1. Consider yourself inviting me for a coffee once a month, and if you think I deserve it. If not, it's all right. The Lord will invite me. So thank you very much. Tell your friends about my books, and I will see you with the second video soon, answering the second claim, which I believe that it's about Jesus is God or not. Thank you, and God bless, and see you very, very, very soon again. God is winning. And remember, Christians, they throw rocks at your tree because your tree is full. and their trees is empty. And this is why you see the Muslims, they try desperately to say that your God is our God. But the Christians, they keep saying, no, 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 your God is not our God. The one who has no honor, he tried to attach his God to our God because he knows what he have no value unless he attach his God to us. This is why they try to hijack our God, try to hijack our Jesus, try to hijack Moses, because Islam is an empty religion and there's nothing come with it except shame and deception and some versions they are dreaming about. Until I see you soon, I say God bless. Thank you. See you again.